Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. Today's video I'm going to be focusing on what's happening in Gaza. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to take in, so I'm going to be just focusing on that today. I do have a lot to talk about China at the moment. There's stuff happening around Taiwan, and I'm going to upload that to a separate video, and I'll send you the link. You can also check out my other channel, the original channel that's still open. That's in the description if you want to check it out. So without further ado, let's carry on with what's been happening so far. So yesterday there was a drone attack on an Israeli army base, and this was fired by Hezbollah. 2 drones attacked the facility. The soldiers were eating at the time. 4 soldiers were announced dead, and there was about 50 or so that got injured, or 60 even got injured. So it was a pretty successful hit by Hezbollah. In return, what Israel did was they attacked a hospital outside the hospital, which was basically people living in tents. There were people in drips, basically being there were injured people. There were women, children, and they were on drips basically, and they got burnt alive by Israel. So these were innocent civilians, and around 20 or so got killed, many hundreds got injured. And it was probably, I can't show you the video because it's YouTube, but you're welcome to go on X and check it out. It's probably one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen. It was basically women and children screaming, people being burnt alive while they were on drips. Those of you who don't know what drips are, you know when you're in a hospital and you're basically given a saline drip into your bloodstream. So obviously these people were being treated for something. So yeah, it's one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen. And so yeah, so it was quite a nasty response by Israel, to be honest. So anyway, I wanted to talk about Nasarullah first. So first of all, Israel took out Nasarullah a few weeks ago, and what my opinion is, I think that was a major mistake for a number of reasons. First reason, I think Nasrullah was deeply loved by the people of Lebanon. He was the face of the resistance. You know, when Israel went into Lebanon first, years ago, we're talking about, he was basically leading the resisting charge, and eventually Israel left Lebanon with the tail between their legs. So they lost the war basically, and he was the face of the resistance. He was the hero. So he is loved in Lebanon. So killing him, this has enraged the Lebanese Muslims and Christians as well, because there are Christians and Muslims living side by side in Lebanon. This has enraged the population. The second reason why it was a mistake to kill him was he was basically trying to stop Hezbollah from escalating. So Hezbollah was basically attacking military targets. They weren't attacking any civilians or army units. They were basically taking out radars, rocket launchers, military outposts, and they were, basically keeping Israel busy while Israel was causing its genocide in Gaza. They were keeping Israel busy up north, but they weren't escalating things. They weren't firing into any major cities or anything like that. But there was a lot of people who were evacuated from the north of Israel because of it, just as a precaution. But taking him out seems like Hezbollah has been let off the leash. Now they're firing rockets daily to Haifa, to Tel Aviv, all over the northern cities. Every single city in the northern areas basically is in danger. So it seems like he was, basically trying to stop all of these attacks going into these major cities and stuff. So taking him out has basically allowed Hezbollah to do what they want. And now, you can see with the casualties that Israel's facing, daily attacks in, cities like Haifa, in Tel Aviv. This is causing huge economic losses to Israel. People are having to run to shelters almost on an hourly basis because there's rockets coming through. And a lot of these rockets are hitting Israel as well, because either Israel has run out of these rockets, or the Iron Dome has run out of rockets, or secondly, they are saving these Iron Dome rockets for a bigger attack from Iran, or thirdly, Hezbollah has found a way to get through these radars and rockets, and they've found a way to hit Israel. Either way, they are getting through and hitting Israel. So I think it was a major mistake killing him, because this has enraged the Lebanese population, and also Hezbollah has been let off the leash, and now they're firing rockets, all over in every single city. And so Israel is not safe. It's made them more unsafe by killing him. So secondly, I wanted to talk about this article on Sky News. You can see from the screen here. So in this article, Sky News is basically saying this UK has announced several sanctions against Iran and stuff. But the picture you see here, the picture is basically, they've stolen this picture from Israel's attack on the hospital yesterday, where people were burnt alive. So they've used that picture and associated Iran's attack against Israel. So this was a complete fabrication. So you can see people are picking this up. People like Suleiman is basically saying, this is a picture of Israel burning children alive in Gaza last night. Why are you using it for a headline with Iran? So they're using it for a headline with Iran because it seems like Netanyahu has approved an attack on Iran today. So an attack on Iran could happen any moment. So looking at this picture, guys, I mean, it just shows me and the world that Sky News and all these other mainstream media channels, including BBC, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, you can name pretty much every single mainstream media channel. They're all in on it. They are all in on this genocide. And you can see when the Israeli soldiers get killed, there's front page news everywhere. And when Palestinians get killed, they don't even mention it, or they mention it and they say, they mention it, but they try and make it like it's not important. They use the words very carefully to say, these children have been killed in Gaza, but they do not say who killed them or who bombed them or how they got killed. They just say, they just got killed. They're walking down the street and they died. That's the kind of language they're using. So it seems like these media companies are all in on it, and our governments are in on it as well, guys. This is not just the media. Our governments, whether it's Labour, whether it's Tories, whether it's Republicans, whether it's Democrats, they are all in on it, every single one of them. And you can see how they kind of stand up and give Netanyahu a standing ovation when it comes to Congress. Every single one of them, gave him a standing ovation like he's some sort of rock star, while he's talking about genociding Gaza and stuff like that. They are all in the pay books of AIPAC, or they're all corrupt. They're all using these wars as money laundering. The same people using these wars in Ukraine. They are money laundering, making money out of wars in Ukraine. They are making money out of wars in the Gaza, in the Middle East. They want to make money out of a war in the Far East with China and the island of Taiwan as well. And they have escalated things so far that China is now blockading Taiwan as we speak. So these people, they're all in on it. It doesn't matter which government you vote, whether you vote the left or the right. They are all the same coin, all of them. Labour, Tories, it's all the same coin. And this is how democracy works, guys. You basically think that you have given a choice, but you don't really have a choice. If you vote Labour, they will do the same thing. If you vote Tories, they will do the same thing. It really doesn't matter. And these democracies, these parties have been put in place to make you believe that you have a choice. For example, the Tories will come in and they will put these policies which destroy the country, and the ordinary people are so disgusted by these policies that they come in and they vote the Labour, hoping there will be a change. But do Labour reverse these policies? No, they double down on the policies and they add more disgusting policies and they do more disgusting things. And then the people are sick of the Labour and they vote the Tories again. And guess what happens? Do they reverse? No, they don't reverse. They double down and they add more disgusting. This is how it works. This is how it's been working in the democracy. This is how it's working in America. This is how it's been working in the UK, in Europe, in Japan, in South Korea. All these Western democracies, they all work the same way. People don't have a choice. Whatever they want to do, they will do. Whatever war they want to start, whatever people they want to send to, they will do. So I'm also hearing that American soldiers are going to be placed in Israel. And the last time American soldiers were placed in a country was in Vietnam. If you remember, Vietnam, North and South were fighting with each other. Then American soldiers were placed in South Vietnam and suddenly they got killed. And America said, okay, our American soldiers got killed, so we're going to go to war. And that's how the Vietnam War started. So you see, these people, they're all in on it, guys. They're all evil. They've all been paid or they've all been threatened in some way. But I don't think it's that. I think it's just they're just evil. It takes a certain person to stand up and clap Netanyahu in Congress. And the British are in on it. Today you see the British adding sanctions to Iran. But do they add any sanctions to Israel for the crimes they're doing? No, it's never going to put any sanctions on Israel. You'll only put sanctions on Iran, countries in the Middle East, or countries it doesn't like China, Russia. So we are basically run by these global elites. These people can say, there's neocons, but I think it's a group of them. There's a group of neocons. There's a group of J's, I would say. There's a group of Z's, I would say. There's a group of oil barons, military-industrial complex guys. There's a group of people running the world, and they are deciding what war to start, what to do, how to release COVID to the rest of the world. All of these things, all these woke ideologies, you can see they're all in on it. The media's in on it. When they want to push this woke ideology, all the media comes in on it. All the politicians start putting all these rules and regulations to promote these wokeism. People are brainwashed. And when they want to push a war, when they want to make someone look evil, all the media's in on it, all the politicians are in on it. They try and do that. People are being brainwashed and people are the ones that are suffering. And because of these wars, inflation is going up, taxation goes up, and people's lives are being ruined. People are living paycheck to paycheck. When there's a war, suddenly they have money to give to Israel and Ukraine, 20 billion here, 20 billion there. weapons here, weapons there. But when there's a natural disaster like the hurricane in the United States, there's no money to be had. Even in UK recently, Zelensky comes in and Keir Starmer says to him, we have 3 billion to give you. But when there's 3 billion to give to the NHS or to people that are striking, no money to be had. Again, yet again, nothing. There's nothing in the pot for ordinary people. But for wars, there's untold money, unlimited amount of money, and it's the people that suffer at the end of the day. So our governments have been compromised, guys, and it's been like this for years, and it's going to stay like this until the people rise up. And I think people are going to start rising up when people can't afford ordinary things like bread and milk, eggs, ordinary things. When hyperinflation hits the West, when the dollar falls and the hyperinflation hits, that's when people are going to rise up and think, you know what, these governments, they've done us in. They've destroyed our economies, they've destroyed our ways of life. We've got no money to feed our children. We've got nothing left. We don't own anything, and people are going to rise up and go to the streets. But right now, we just, it's almost like watching. It's like watching a live stream genocide and watching these governments all colluding with each other and laughing at us behind our backs and saying, "Oh, we can get away with this. We'll do what we want. You guys can't do anything. You guys are helpless." And it's absolutely sickening beyond doubt, guys. Sickening. So Israel is going to attack Iran over the next few days, and I saw this article basically saying how they're going to do it. So I want to show you a map here. So you can see on the right you have Iran, which is quite a big country. And you've got Israel here on the left, next to the Mediterranean Sea. So Saudi Arabia and Iraq, UAE, Oman and Bahrain and other Middle Eastern countries have said Israel cannot fly over their territories to attack Iran. So they've said that officially. But looking at the map, there's only one way Israel can, or two ways Israel can attack. Actually, one way Israel can attack, and that's basically flying through Jordan. Jordan is a friendly country towards Israel, and Jordan is not going to shoot down Israeli jets if he flies over its territory. So I believe Israel is going to fly over Jordan, and it's going to fly over northern Iraq. Northern Iraq is not really controlled by Iraq. It's controlled by the Kurds. And these Kurds are basically in bed with Americans. There's loads of American bases all over northern Iraq. And the Kurds and the Americans are basically friends. And they're also friends with Israel as well. So I think they're going to go through Jordan and they're going to fly through northern Iraq. They're going to have to, their jets are going to have to refuel at some point. So I think they're going to refuel maybe around northern Jordan, and they'll probably refuel around Mosul area as well. And the Americans will help them refuel. And once they refuel, they will attack a few territories around northern Iran and even kind of middle Iran and southern Iran, and they'll fly back. And this article says that basically there's 5 options it can attack Iran. So number 1 is going to be a like for like. Basically, the things that Iran attacked Israel with, they're going to attack Iran same way, like military bases. The second thing is going to be they're going to target the leaders like Khamenei and the Iranian Prime Minister right now. They're probably going to target him. That's the second way. The third way is what they did with Lebanon, where they basically used the pagers to kind of target militants and target people in Iran. So they might do that kind of attack and airstrikes as well at the same time. Number 4, they can attack Iranian oil and gas installations, which is an absolute bad idea, because if that happens, the price of oil and gas is probably going to shoot up to, well, the price of oil is probably going to shoot up to $200 a barrel. And it's just going to be the worst idea, because 90% of Iranian oil is sells to China. So China's not going to be very happy. You know, China's main source of oil comes from Iran. And second main source is Russia. And then the rest of the countries. So China is definitely not going to be happy about that. And Iran's going to attack Israel's oil facilities as well. Israel has got a number of oil and gas facilities all over Israel. And there's a lot of oil refineries and oil storage areas. So Iran will probably fire back with missiles and destroy that. They'll destroy all of Israel's oil and gas capacities, installations. And that's going to be really bad for Israel, because Israel cannot make its own oil or gas. And that's also going to push up the price to $200 a barrel. And Iran can also block the Strait of Hormuz to not allow any shipments going in and out, any oil shipments going in and out of the strait. Same way Yemen is doing in the Red Sea. So that could easily escalate to something. And this is something the Americans don't want, especially before an election. When the oil goes up to $200 a barrel, it's going to cause absolute mayhem around the world's economy. And the final thing is Israel could attack Iranian nuclear facilities. And again, this is going to be an extremely bad idea. Number 1, these nuclear facilities are deep, hidden underground mountains. Even with bunker buster bombs, they are not going to go deep enough. And secondly, they do not know where all of these nuclear facilities are. Iran has several nuclear facilities hidden, which it has not disclosed to the IAEA. And so they have got at least a dozen nuclear facilities as backups, which he has not disclosed. And they have hidden those because they know there's a war coming with the United States. So they have been preparing for war since the 1980s. So they've been preparing for war against Israel and America since the 1980s. So there's a lot of underground facilities where, Israel does not know about. And thirdly, if Israel does attack Iranian nuclear facilities, Iran will attack Israel's nuclear facilities. And Israel has only got one nuclear facility, which is Dimona. So you imagine Israel's Dimona being attacked, and that nuclear facility is currently up and running. And if Iran blows up that Dimona nuclear site, then there's going to be nuclear radiation all over Israel. And people are going to panic, they're going to leave Israel. And that's probably going to cause some sort of retaliation by Israel. Probably Israel will start using nukes against Iran. And this is going to cause some sort of retaliation, because I think Iran has got some nukes, and I think they will fire nukes back at Israel. And this is going to cause further retaliation by the United States, and Russia's going to join in, China's going to join in. It's going to be World War III, guys. It's going to be, it's not worth thinking about. So those are the scenarios that could happen. And I just wanted to kind of end the video there. And thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and share, and I'll see you guys soon.